She sells seashells by the seashore. Okay. Woo! Ready. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Moto Misha Monde. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're here. You made it. Great. Glad to have you. Excellent. Well, today we are going to talk about the French GP that is coming up, and we're going to be talking about what to look out for, what can we expect from the race, who will be on the podium maybe. So let's get into it. And before we start, just a little side note. Thank you to everyone who's recently subscribed. I really appreciate it. And just to let you know, we did get the community tab activated on the channel, so go check that out. I'll be posting there updates, funny memes, as well as you guys can vote on thumbnails for me, which one you guys think will be better for the video. So I'm gonna put it in your hands, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So check out that community tab. It's gonna be on my channel page, so yeah. First up, we got Ducati in the French GP. More specifically, Pecco Bagnaia first off. Now, Pecco Bagnaia just won the last race at Jerez, the Spanish GP, and he's looking to continue that fine form that he showed the last race, as well as at the end of last season. So he should be in for a big race. I think he's got some momentum, so we'll see how he performs. As well as his teammate, Jack Miller, Thriller Miller, the Aussie. He thinks that he has something to prove now, I believe, with Ducati to keep his seat. But I think Miller is confident because it must be noted that last year, Jack Miller did win the French GP at Le Mans. I think it was at Le Mans last year as well. So he has some confidence for this track, so good on him. I think he should do well. Let's see how they do. Second off, we got Quartararo, Fabio Quartararo, the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the world. That's my WWE coming out again. But Fabio Quartararo, as we all know, is French, Français, and he is coming home on the heels of really strong performances, as well as leading the championship standings at the moment. So he will be looking to perform well, I assume, at his home race. You know, everyone wants to please the home fans as well as give them a good show. So let's see if they'll be chanting Allez les Bleus, Allez les Bleus after the race. And also, Le Mans might be a track that actually does suit the Yamaha better than other tracks, as well as Quartararo, I think, will have a battle with Pecco Bagnaia again for the win. I mean, those two are just picking up where they left off last year, so we will see what happens with those two, but it should be a nice, fierce battle, I would say, because Pecco is looking to regain that form, and Fabio is defending his title, so both of them have something on the table, and it just comes down to who wants it more, I believe. Next up, we got Aprilia, and more specifically, Aleix Espargaro. What a story this year it has been for Aleix. So happy for him, like I've said in my previous videos. Really glad he's finally in the peak form of his life. It looks like he has an actual legitimate shot of maybe winning the world title this year. You never know. I mean, Fabio Quartararo is looking like he's putting up a strong title defense, and like I just said, Quartararo, Pecco Bagnaia as well, but Aleix Espargaro has put himself into the mix, and Aprilia is no joke. They are the real deal this year, which was proved by the fact that they actually lost their concessions at the end of the last race, which was Jerez, the Spanish GP. And for those of you who don't know what concessions are what MotoGP gives teams that are struggling. They give them extra testing sessions, I think extra engines as well throughout the season to use so that they can be more competitive compared to the top flight teams in the premier class. But then eventually, once your team starts doing better with those concessions, you start getting podiums, wins, basically overall good results up to a certain point, then you lose your concessions. You can still get them back again if you do poorly again, but it's a sign of basically, yeah, you're pretty effing good. Anyway, Aleix Espargaro at the end of last race, consecutive podiums at the end of last race, Jerez, and the one before that at Algarve. Third places in each of those races, so it looks like he will be in contention again. I mean, the Aprilia is just showing good pace, good form this year, and Aleix Espargaro, their rider as well, seemed perfect for that bike now. So let's see what happens. Anyway, moving on, we got Honda and Optimism surrounding that team. I mean, Marc Marquez looks like he's coming into form again. Now just hopefully, knock on wood. Wait. There's wood. There's the wood. Hopefully he doesn't crash out again like he has been in the last couple seasons just too many crashes, which has really dismantled his chances at doing anything productive and successful for the team. So, but Marc Marquez coming off of a 4th place back at the Spanish GP, where he had a little bit of a late hiccup in the race where he just saved a crash, but luckily he managed past Jack Miller later on in the race to salvage P4. Speaking of Honda, we don't talk about this rider that much, but Pol Espargaro as well. I believe he got something to prove as well. I mean, he is on the hot seat a little bit here, you know? I mean, for instance, in my last video, which you can find in the description of this video, I talked about Suzuki and how Johan Mir might be going to Repsol Honda to be paired with Marc Marquez for next season. And that means the odd man out is Pol Espargaro, of course. So I think Pol Espargaro has something to gain here. If he can show nice pace, as well as getting a good final result, like at least top 10, possibly top 5, but let's just say right in the middle somewhere, let's say a top 7 finish or so. I think that would do real well in terms of his confidence as well as stature and how he looks towards other teams, because if he wants to stay in the class next year, there might be some other teams looking at him, but they want to see what they're getting first before they sign him. So I think he has to have a good showing after only P11 at Jerez. Oh, who's the next team we got on the list? Oh yeah, Suzuki. Suzuki, of course. Just like I said, I talked about them on my last video, so I'm going to try and keep this one short, but Suzuki, of course, this year they haven't had that much success. They haven't even had a victory yet, and their 2 riders, Rins and Mir, look like they will be finding new seats elsewhere next year because of all the rumors of Suzuki leaving MotoGP, blah, 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 blah. But I think Rins is the one that we got to focus on here, because Rins, I believe, has to prove that he's a good enough rider for some teams. Mir, we already know he's good. He won a world title a couple years ago, and he's just the model of consistency for a rider. But Rins, a little bit inconsistent, right? All those crashes every second race or so, you know? So Rins, I believe, has something to prove. And Mir, on the other hand, I believe just has to kind of close the gap to Quartararo if he wants to stay in this title fight. I believe at the making of this video, he's 35 points down on Quartararo from the top. So he's got to have a good, strong showing here. Possibly a podium. Yeah, you kind of want Fabio Quartararo to finish behind you if you're Johan Mir. We will see where those 2 Suzuki riders land in the final standings of this race of the French GP. And last rider we have on the agenda today is the one, the only, Enea Bastianini. Now, Enea Bastianini, again, one of those riders, great showing in the early season with a couple wins. Since then, he has tapered off a bit, I will say. And I think he needs to show that he can stay consistent throughout the length of a full season to be challenging for the title all season long, instead of just a little spurt at the beginning and then tapering off throughout the rest of the season. So he needs to show that he can stay consistent, be in a title fight with Quartararo, because he is also possibly vying for Jack Miller's seat at factory Ducati next year. So there's also something in play there on that front as well. So Enea Bastianini, we'll see what position he comes in and how his race goes. And finally, for the last topic, is just the circuit itself, Le Mans. I mean, it's a very unpredictable circuit from recent history, especially with the unpredictable weather. It has rained there kind of unexpectedly the last 2 years, so it can be a wet race, and we should expect that now, I believe, as well as just whoever wins the race. I mean, it seems like it's a different person every time and just kind of unexpected. I mean, I don't think anyone thought Jack Miller was going to win Le Mans last year, the French GP, but yeah, he did it, and it was a great kind of coming back to form for Jack Miller, I say, after a few years of kind of not being relevant, let's say, in the podium fight and everything. So yeah, we'll see who wins this one. I mean, we've already had 5 different race winners in 6 races, so it's not like anyone's really dominating the championship or the podiums or the wins. So we could very well see another race winner, first-time winner for this season. So let's be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that about covers all I have for the French GP. So yeah, subscribe if you want more of these videos. And if you're new to the channel, of course, I always invite you to subscribe. Leave some comments down below on what you think will happen in this race. But all in all, with that being said, okay, bye. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you have stuck around this long, hit that like button, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. Until next time, this is Moto Misha, checking out. Peace.